the group breaks up. You had Redhead, you had Abstract, you had Today, and they decide, because Today
Yeah,
didn't come out with another album. They just folded.
they just folded. I mean, because like Gene, I guess Gene had them on the on the paper, and then like I don't know what their relationship was with Ted, but Redhead kind of separate. He went on his separate way. Today, end up doing something another album because their first album was good, so they end up doing another album, but
Yeah,
Ted
yeah, yeah.
wasn't involved in that. You know what I'm saying? So I think Gene had a song with Mucho on there. I think something like that, maybe on the second album,
That
if I'm correct.
why you get funky on me? Who did that production?
That was initially Ted did. You know what I'm saying, the original, like that. So Ted was
Oh,
supposed to be the original person that was doing something on it, and then I think somebody else might have got involved with it. Maybe Spider-Man Freeze or somebody else got involved
but
with it.
he did the main track first, and then they just
Yeah, I think Ted had something like the first track, if I remember correctly. Ted had the first version of that.
why you get funky on me.
Right,
Okay, yeah, because it does sound like him, but then he's not credited for doing the production and stuff.
right.
So they did a second album because they're still on the Motown and stuff.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
okay, and but for you guys, you decided, it's New York. I'm not. This is too much, too cold. I don't know anyone here. I'm gonna go back with my boys back.
Yep.
Okay. Um, Before we talk about moving back to Atlanta, you mentioned that in those days you were in the studio, even sleeping under the console. What were you allowed to get involved in any production Teddy was doing, or were you just watching?
No, I was just watching. He never kicked me out. He always like, when I would be in there, he was like, I guess he was enthused about, saying like, I guess I don't know. It was funny because like, they would kick other people out.
Oh,
So other people would get kicked out, but was always allowed to stay. I guess because like, like I said, I had all of the company sounds. So I guess I was like the little it guy, whatever. Because
okay.
I had sounds, I had the show stuff, and I had, I was like today's production guy and running the part of the show that Mucho didn't do. Like, Mucho did the programming, and I pretty much helped put the rest of, saying the setups and everything together. So
Yeah.
I guess I was allowed to stay because of that. I never thought about why I was allowed to stay because I know a lot of
Okay.
people got kicked out.
Yeah. I mean, was he? So, and I think the hard thing is because you know, John Marie was talking about how Teddy was with the keys and stuff, but then Teddy talks about being very technical, using the computers to create sound. So, when you were watching, was he using the keyboard, because the keyboards to make sounds, or was he just
Um,
using the MP3 just to
it was
create the
the
sound?
NPC and the DW. It was a couple of pieces that he was using during that time. You know
So
what
he
I'm saying?
wouldn't
And
just
then
get the
like,
keyboards and start to create the sounds, and it wasn't like that using the keyboards to make music.
nah, it was like it's like he make sit down and he make music, and then like he would create certain things. Then then you had Dave Way who was a part of like the second, like the Future album. But Dave Way was the engineer that I always knew. So like Dave would do funky stuff with like a reverb unit, and like Ted would go like, yo, I like that, and they'll take that and do something else with it, and he'll flip it
Wow.
some other kind of way. So it was like it was really wild watching saying the whole thing come together.
Because, as I said, a lot of us would always remember seeing Bernard Bell, Teddy, and
Yep.
Dave Way like with High
Yep.
Five, Kissing Game, and
Yep.
um,
They were doing like Bernard was like saying that guy that was kind of like doing a lot of skeletons, and then Ted would take those skeletons and build from that, and then they would create stuff together. You know what I'm saying?
and
So
then
like all those great lovely intros everybody liked from the Guy albums, and
yeah,
all
yeah.
those beautiful piano intros, and saying the Michael Jackson stuff, all that, those great intros.
Yeah.
A lot of that was Bernard Bell.
Was Bernard a singer, or what was he? Was he?
Yep. He used to be
Okay.
a part of. He used to be a part of the Jets from today's group, the Jets back in the day. Originally, it was Bernard Bell was in the group.
Was that not Timmy's thing?
That was Bernard Bell and Big Bub and all of them guys, like those said. So they were originally the original guys that were part of that group.
Legit.
The Gents. I mean the Gents.
Yeah. I thought Timmy did. Well, I thought it was Timmy Gatlin's sort of thing.
Nah, I mean it was like okay. Timmy might have been in the group, but I know that
No,
Bernard
not
is
in the
Big
group.
Bro.
Not in the group. I thought he did the production for them.
Oh no, that's possible. I don't know who did the production for him. I just know that who was in the.
I think he had one of his
group.
cousins in Legend. Okay, and I heard him on a different interview, so I didn't ask him directly. But okay, so he was singing, and he stopped singing, and he went to do background writing and stuff like that.
Yeah, yep, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people might not know that Bernard Belle is the brother to Regina Belle.
Yep, exactly.
Great family singers and stuff. So you're in the studio, you're watching Dave Way. He was the engineer doing mixing.
Yep, Dave was doing mixing, and I mean, Dave was transforming stuff, man. Dave was like Dave would be putting stuff through a effect unit and make it do something totally different, and then Ted would take that and then he flip it another kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So it was very interesting for me to watch and to be a part of. I think it definitely made its mark on me as an engineer and a producer.
Now, did you then start to think when you were seeing all this stuff, them creating the sounds? Did you start thinking this is where I might want to be? Because I guess when you're in the studio, you're not on the road. You're not. You can...
Yeah, and pretty much that's where I was. I just didn't participate in production at the time, but like when Mucho and them started doing stuff, then I started learning how to use the drum machine and produce.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Which was like, it's a good thing I had a key to the locker with all the equipment.
Yeah.
So I had to bring Mucho a drum machine home, and I had to bring me one home because he, like when I brought one home, Mucho was pretty much just been confiscate that one. You know what I'm saying? So
Dave Way's white, isn't he?
Yes.
Did it surprise you that he was able to do all this R&B sort of stuff?
No. I mean, I didn't never looked at it like that because I grew up in the '80s, so I listened to a whole lot of people that had like dope stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Kenny Logan, Yeah. I think it's different back in the '80s. I think a lot of people in the '90s would be surprised because I think someone like John B or Robin Thicke, they'll be like, why is this? Or Call Me Bad, they'll say, why are these white guys singing R&B? But if you grew up in the '80s, it was. Kenny Logan. You could even Michael Ball. I mean,
the Doogie brothers. Come on, man.
Yeah. And it was no one complained. It was because it was just good music. I mean, it was just good music. Okay, so, but at least a lot of people. Yeah, if we see Dave Way's name, yeah, he was white, but I could tell Teddy's production when Dave Way was around. There's a way his snares, the drums would sound with Dave Way. Kissing Game or Do Me Right or the Guy album, you could hit
it's just that ambiance they always put on it. They always that little extra zing that they put on stuff.
There was something different. And when Dave Way, when I saw his name on the credits, I could tell that was the Teddy stuff. It changed when after the Future album, the sound sort of changed quite different, and that was it changed. You think it changed with time, but I did miss that 80s type of stuff. So then, Teddy tells you to stay, but you decide, I guess what are the things that you had him produce when you used to be in the studio? What were the songs?
Like all of the today remixes after him and me, like Girl I Got My Eye on You, Take It Off. The Kissing Game, was the Kissing Game done? No. What was that we were working on? Deja. What else what he worked on that I was there for? Is it? I want to say name came James. What's his name?
Who's that? George Michael? Which? No, not George Michael. Not Boy George, but James Ingram.
James Ingram.
It's real. Okay, it's real. Okay.
Like that stuff. I was like, listening to them do that. That stuff, like I said, it was man, and then like I said, all of the today stuff and guy remixes that they were working on. So it was like it was a whole just vibe, man.
Okay, I'm gonna ask one. So Omar Hudson, he asked a question about back in the days, remixes were popular and in some cases sounded like a completely different song altogether. Why do you feel the remixes died into today? Because back in those days,
man, they got lazy and people didn't want to pay for stuff and. It's like you didn't have those producers that did it like that. Like that was a sticker for us. Like if you were a part of Teddy's camp, like if you got a remix from from the Future family, you got 4 or 5 different versions of something.
Wow.
And that would be like, different producers that, came to the table. And of course, Teddy's sitting there like a DJ and trying to make sure everything is meshing together. And it's like you got little tidbits and stuff from different producers, but usually it's like one record, one of the guys has got like the main basis, and then you got other stuff from different guys that they added from those different versions. So I think just people just got, they got lazy with it. I mean, it used to be fun. I mean, it made things sound different.
Yeah.
Only thing I would change about it is I would want to get some publishing credits off of it. That's about it.
Oh, so that back in those days when you did a remix, it wouldn't be you would have no publishing on there.
No, you just got paid. That was pretty much it.
Okay. Because in some cases it was almost like another song. In some cases, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That's. I mean, I'll get back to some of the other questions later. So, they split up. You moved back to Georgia. You're working back to Atlanta. You're working with Basic Black.
Mm-hmm.
Were you involved when they were making their album, or what were you doing at that point?
They were pretty much putting the album together. I kind of was when they were recording, so all the kind of stuff all the production stuff was pretty much kind of done when I got back to them.
Oh, you got back later than them, or what happened?
I got back later than them because, like, when I first went back, they were already back about a month or so before I got back, and then I initially went home. I went home for a couple of months, and then
make peace with that and everything.
And then I moved up to Atlanta, and it's like, then I was working at rental center. It was like, okay, I got to get a job.
Okay.
And then while they were working on stuff, I would just, so I would take the rental center van and sneak to the studio with them. And then Gene finally said, "Man, stop taking them people van. They're gonna lock you up. Come on up here. You want to work with your guys in the way? Just come on up here. We give you a little something. You stay at the house." And then like we were getting ready to do recording with the guys and start rehearsing and stuff like that. So Gene was like, "You're gonna start rehearsals real soon. So just come on up here. We got you." Okay.
It's Nothing But a Party's probably still one of my top 10 tracks.
Yeah.
I used to always think that, man, I'm sure Teddy did that, but I was surprised. It's still very current to today. Were you? So you they did most of the recording before you went. So you were then helping them with the show?
Live stuff, the show and the live stuff, and I was around when we were doing. I mean, I'm a homeboy, so I'm just around. And they're doing Nothing But a Party videos, and I'm there at the video shoot. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I was around with all of that. I actually didn't get into the production side of it because I still was new to the production game. And they were like mainly the guys of like Mucho, Artisan, Spec. You know what I'm saying? And I would tinker around with stuff, but it wasn't to the point where I was like creating anything as of yet.
Yeah. But then when they did their videos, Nothing But a Party comes out and She's Mine, and what was that? Whatever It Takes, is it?
Whatever It Takes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Special Kind of Feel comes out. I mean, with around Georgia, were they known as like, wow, Basic Black?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I mean, even in Europe, then we all knew about Basic Black because that Nothing But a Party was a big international hit.
All over Atlanta, everybody knew who Basic Black was. Like, we were like the local at the time, the local celebrity scene at the time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, everybody knew who Basic Black was.
Did you think they were going to be as big as Guy? Because did they come out the same time as the Future album, or did they come out before?
Yeah, I think that they probably could have been. I mean, we were doing shows, and I think they could have been. You know what I'm saying? Just as big as Guy, you know what I'm saying? Because Diesel was like, he's a beast. So
yeah.
And the songs were great. It's like, you know what I'm saying? The main thing was because Teddy and Gene split, people were familiar with Guy. So I guess it was a thing where promoters was like, okay, I don't want to make Teddy mad. I'm gonna just, you know what I'm saying? So and Gene would be like, hey, he would try to get us on shows with Guy.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. It's like Bad Boy and Death Row being on the same building.
Right. So he would try to get us on shows with them. Um, and it basically, saying they was like, not going down.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Teddy's still a bigger name. I mean, as
So,
production is there.
so
Yeah,
right. So we just we had that little saying. So they didn't let us give it on any shows with guys. So I think that was the catalyst of them going to the next level versus or being their competition to the point where hey they're on the same level
yeah.
as guy because
And
it was kind of like the same vibe whatever.
yeah, it was the same. But I guess people who are not familiar with the '90s would be surprised to find out that in those days you had to do a lot of shows. You had to pretty much work yourself. It's not like now that you just do a video and you can sit at home and stuff, or even in the night, even in
Yeah,
the
that
2000s
this
where
now, yeah, this now thing is crazy. I mean, I still love the live element in that.
yeah,
I
because
still
they
love
used
that.
to have to do shows, they had to work, and people used to do reviews, and it's like, have you
Yeah,
seen Guy? And have you seen? So I think now they could have been on. No one would have. They just needed music, but back in those days, it was the shows that really made a difference.
yep, exactly.
So did you then? So what were you then doing then? So okay, today still doing videos. They're still getting the name out there. Were you then supporting them on the road, or how? What was your
Well,
transition?
well, with I mean, well, saying when the company split, I just kind of like transitioned to Georgia with Basic Black. So we started doing the road stuff. I was their production manager,
Okay,
and pretty much doing the same thing with them I was doing for today. Running. But by that time, I'm transitioned to doing monitors and, like I said, sometimes front of house. Depends
okay,
on if our guy wasn't able to go.
yeah,
And so I helped did that with Basic Black, and I did do one band thing with Zan where we went to Japan, and I did the band with Zan for a little while. What I'm saying,
okay.
and then when Basic Black got ready to go out, I just started going out with them.
Uh, just briefly, Zan, he came out with the album, then disappeared. I mean, and he what did you understand why?
I could look. I don't know what happened with that. I mean, I thought the album was dope. What I'm saying, but
Yeah,
I say it just kind of disappeared off of the. What I'm saying, it disappeared pretty much. Like because we did a couple of shows and we had planned on doing a tour, but it just didn't happen.
yeah.